What is a woman? But before we answer that question or seek answers from any of you, we need to understand that does a surgically put organs on a human body ensure that she becomes a woman? Welcome to a new episode of Beyond the Reels. A few days ago, a documentary directed by Justin Folk was all out there on social media and everybody was watching it. Initially, it was banned. It was not being allowed to come out to the public forum because of the content it carried. The documentary was called What is a Woman? And it was hosted by Matt Walsh. He went around several places in America asking a lot of professionals, doctors, general people, students, and people placed in different spheres of life of what is a woman. Some people, interestingly, were very confused with the concept of a woman. Later on, as the documentary progressed, what evolved out of the entire conversation that the documentary was trying to indulge in was that this was a section of people who are extremely woke, who are influenced by the trans activism that has gripped the Western nations, and who are delegitimizing the concept of a woman that is scientific in its truest term. We have to understand that in a human body there are bones, and there is a system that decides who is a woman at birth and who is a man at birth. And while we use the word at birth, I'm going to refer to the word cis that the entire trans activists use. They describe cis as assigned gender during birth. This cis word is being used so that later on they can peddle the distorted narrative amongst youngsters and make them understand that today you can wake up and you can decide that you are not a boy but a girl, or you are not a girl but a boy. It depends on what you feel you are. This entire concept is being stretched so much that little children and youngsters and teenagers who are entirely confused about this whole agenda is ending up going for sex change operations, which is harming them in the long run. Sex change operations are just cosmetic changes done to a body. It is powered by the entire pharma lobby, pharma giants, who want to harm human bodies. Innumerable videos on social media has surfaced where people have started speaking up against sex change operations in teenagers and youngsters. When we use the word trans, I want to put a disclaimer here. We are not delegitimizing or discrediting the biological trans in this country or in this world who have been born that way. Interestingly, they also do not associate with this movement and with these activists and with this agenda because their struggle is completely different. They are trying to establish themselves and mainstream themselves in the society through different works, through different jobs, in education, in different spheres of life. But the trans activism, which is absolutely hypocritical in nature, is delegitimizing and discrediting the struggle that the biological trans have. What this trans agenda has actually powered is they have placed counselors in different segments in different places so that these counselors brainwash you to understand that you could be biologically a boy, but a girl is trapped inside your body and you need to go through you need to go under the knife to become a girl. The pretension has gone to such a level that these operated on males are going around and telling people that they are actually women and they feel everything that a woman goes through and their body goes through everything that a woman goes through. This is such a big lie that it needs to be called out. If you remember, in the latest OTT series Made in Heaven season 2, there is a character called Meher. He is a trans, he calls himself a trans woman, but he is a man after all. There is a subtle agenda pushed where he is being shown as the perfect female. Most of the female characters in the series are given very negative or very weak light. But this character is being projected as the perfect woman to be part of, society. There is a small scene, I'll reiterate it. He turns around and he asks the girl, Jazz, to hand him over a pad. And Jazz gives him a sanitary tissue. If this is not peddling the agenda of a sex-changed trans woman, then what is? This is, this is trying to tell people that trans women also have their menses. So, this is the time to question every trans woman who says that we also have periods, we also go through the cycle of menstruation. They don't. Trans women do not have periods, and hence they cannot have babies. Now, this is another thing that we must understand. What is this trans activism trying to do? It's trying to depopulate the earth. The moment you sort of influence men to become women, cosmetically at least, and you influence women to become men, cosmetically, you are sort of conditioning women not to have children. If you notice, trans activists are all out there to demonize men. The whole agenda is to show straight men as bad people, as weak people, as cruel people, as people harming or abusing women. I doubt that the essence of being a woman is only related to just carnal or sexual pleasure and acceptance. Being a woman is much more than that. It's much more. We continuously see that trans women are getting into women's spaces. They are usurping the position, the position that women made after so much of struggle throughout the years in different spheres, in sports, in work, in jobs, in education. You cannot get into a women's room by just saying that you feel like a woman and you're dressing up like a woman. It doesn't happen that way. We must appreciate that the West has slowly started understanding this, and a lot of places are making laws that are preventing men from entering women's spaces. When you name a woman as a birther or a baby carrier or a chest feeder, you're actually dehumanizing a woman. A woman is somebody who cannot be dehumanized with such words. We are not machines. We are not just, a body that does all this. God has given us the power of creating life in association with men, of course, but The moment you say chest feeders and birthers and baby carriers, you're actually dehumanizing and doing away with the entire concept of women, and that is extremely dangerous. And that is what the trans agenda is also directed at. While a lot of parents are nowadays talking about let our children explore and understand what they want to be, or this whole concept of exploration is very unhinged. If you as a parent care about your child, do not let people like Trinetra and who played the character of Meher in Made in Heaven fool you into thinking that this is not going to harm your child. Trans activism is powered by big pharma lobbies who want to capture the whole system and treat humans like lab rats. That is what they want. They just want to earn money at the cost of human lives, at the cost of children, at the cost of the innocence of children, at the cost of women, at the cost of entire civilization. If you care for your child and if you care for your next generation, try to tell your offspring, try to tell your progeny that these trans activism, it's not free of dangers, because a human body is not to be toyed with. It is not a tool that you play with. It is a creation that is biological, that is scientific, and it operates in a certain way. A liberals and trans activists and movies and music makers and fashion designers and social media influencers are all out to prove that men can be women and women can be men, and men can be cats and women can be rats, and so on and so forth. But the truth is that women are women and women are created by God and men are created by God. So, this surgical procedures don't change that. In if you have seen the documentary What is a Woman by Justin Folk, where Matt Walsh is hosting the entire thing, he goes and asks his, after all the deconstruction that he does with the doctors and with all the medical professionals and with the different heads of organizations, he goes back home and he asks his wife, what is a woman? So the lady doesn't take even 2 minutes and says, an adult human female. That is the simplest answer that one can have, and that is the blatant truth that the world needs to understand. Thank you.